She might be the most gorgeous character of all of Neverness to Everness. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Zankou, and she is finally here. I'm pretty sure she's one of the most sought after character ever since you've seen her in the storyline, and I won't lie, she is mine. But yeah, welcome to my complete Zankou guide, where we'll be going through all of her kit, her best teams, her builds, and more importantly, a rotation guide that you can follow step by step. Use the timestamps for convenience, and with that said, let's get into it. Just real quick before we start, if you're looking for the best deals for top-ups in games like Neverness to Everness, I'd like to share with you the website I usually use, which is Loot Bar. Loot Bar is very direct. They offer the best prices for the same top-ups you'd find in-game. You can see how much you save right beside the price tag here. You can actually save quite a good amount, up to 25% if you register now with my link and use those new user coupons too. What's best for me is how easy it is to set up. Simply click on my link in the description, register an account if you don't have one yet, select any bundles you would like, complete the payment, choose self top-up, log into your account. Now this is secured since it is set up as a one-time cloud device, so you don't gotta worry about that. You'll then see your account in-game on the browser, go to the store and click on the bundle you purchase. You'll be able to redeem it right away, and voila, you'll have your resources. Then simply log out, your data will be automatically cleared. If you would prefer not to log in, there's even a direct top-up feature where if you bind your email to your game account, you can enjoy direct top-up without logging in even. All the more convenient. I've been using Lootbar for almost 2 years now, and I have had no issues, and they also have thousands of great reviews on Trustpilot. Lootbar's been around the block. They're also used by multiple other big name creators too, so yep, no complaints from me. Just as a side note, Lootbar also has official CD keys on sale for some really big Steam games like Art Raiders. You get up to 80% off for these keys, so yeah, check it out. If you're interested, click my link in the description and give Lootbar a shot. It does help me out a ton as well, so I'd appreciate that. So to start with a summary, Zankou is an incantation element main damage dealer that can also be played as a sub damage dealer with a Scorch enhancement. She has a lot of her kit designed to work with the dot archetype, but she also has a lot of direct damage with her high multipliers, especially for her second ultimate. Zankou is strong enough numerically to be a main damage dealer or just be a sub DPS in a dot centered team, which would feature Lacrimosa. The end goal with Zankou is to really just use her kit until you get to release her strongest ultimate, and that will be her gameplay loop. Her strongest ultimate is the one with the highest multipliers, and with her entire kit being used, you will be fully maximizing her dot related capabilities as well. Zankou is a character that can be played normally for good returns, as she is easily tier 0, yet has high skill ceiling where you can then max her further if you master her animations and master her complex team swaps. But that's usually for a whole different breed of players though. Zankou's best teams as a sub DPS would be Zankou, Lacrimosa, Sakiri, and Aroi, while her main DPS team would be Zankou, Sakiri, plus any anima and chaos element character in the same team in order to trigger Scorch. More on all of them later though. Now then, let's just jump into Zankou's kit. To start with her basic attacks, Zankou actually starts with her reality form, which is just her default form as you are watching here. She actually gains a hunt buff in this form, which all it means is just that she does more direct damage. As you use her basic attacks, you can unlock her enhanced skill, which is what you want to do. You can spam her basic or hold her basic after clicking her basic twice, or what I personally like to do is to just hold basic from the get-go and you'll see her skill light up. That means it is her enhanced skill. You want to use that. By using this enhanced skill, it allows Zankou to inflict 5 stacks of dot on enemies while also additionally reduce enemies' toughness bar. Pretty helpful. After using a skill, Zankou will transform from her reality form to her illusion form. You will still hold your hunt buff for just about 8 seconds after turning into this form, and in this illusion form, Zankou causes enemies to receive 25% increased dot crit damage, and not only that, her basics within this form is changed as well. It now applies a dot on hit, and it also spreads up to 4 dots from the target to all enemies within range, and that is pretty busted for a dot team. Once this illusion form goes for 5 seconds, Zankou's skill will line up again, allowing you to perform her second enhanced skill, which deals high damage to an area and also inflicts dot. She'll then return to her reality form, and now her ultimate will light up as well. If you have enough energy, you can go ahead and use this. The first ult usage can deal massive damage and also inflict dots. For a short time after this ult is done, Zankou will yet again light up her ult icon with a second ult. You want to use that, and that is her highest damage ultimate with the highest multiplier. To dive deeper now though, she has 2 passives. The first one is the Scorch enhancement, which sees its limit increase to 3 stacks. Not only that, Zankou will inflict 1 stack of Scorch for each dot effect allies inflict on a target already affected inflicted with Scorch. All of this just means you'll get way more Scorches to be applied via Zankou, and all of them will calculate their damage based on Zankou stats, especially Cycle Intensity, which maximizes the damage of these Scorch effects. Her second passive is actually why I mentioned Cycle Intensity especially, because the second passive increases Zankou Cycle Intensity by 100 straight up. On top of that, Zankou will start the battle with max cycle gauge, meaning she can instantly activate NS per cycle with a Chaos character to get a quick Scorch in. Now that we understand what Zankou's all about, her playstyle is pretty direct. You just want to start by getting to her enhanced skill by spamming basics or holding basic, then you just want to spam her basic into unlocking her second enhanced skill. By using the second enhanced skill, you would unlock her ultimate, and by using her ultimate, you unlock her enhanced ultimate. That will be one full rotation of Zankou, and in terms of a value, it's obvious that her kit is heavily skewed towards Scorches and high multipliers, so she's kind of like a mixed damage dealer in that sense, where she can be used as a really strong dot related character, or she could just like be a truck that just run through you with direct crit damage with her ultimates, and she also happens to have Scorches that also burn you alive. That is exactly why she's really strong, and I do recommend anyone that wants a main damage dealer, you want a team that's fun, that's dominant, Zankou's the person to get. With that said, let's jump into her builds now. To start with her arcs, her signature arc is the best obviously, and unfortunately though, her alternatives are not as ideal. The battle pass Fluff of Finesse is an option, but you have to make sure you evade well, and even then it's still a good chunk of margin away from matching the signature. Otherwise, you can think about the purple Watch Your Heads, which can be considered mainly just for the main stats, but it is quite a lot worse than the signature anyway. And usually with main damage dealers, I recommend to just go for their signatures. Like, you know you're gonna main the character, might as well give them the best that they deserve. And for this case, her signature is actually pretty valuable. Now then, for her Cartridge, there are actually two directions you can proceed with Zankou. If you want to mainly use her as a sub-DPS for a Lacrimosa dot team, you want the Lost Radiance set, just for the reduced defense effect that applies for dot damage too. You'd want the crit damage main stat, and module substats, you want crit damage for cycle intensity, then crit rate, then damage percent. The reason behind all these stats are that dots can actually crit, but you cannot increase its default 50% crit rate. Crit damage though, however, applies to dot damage anyway, which is why you want higher crit damage, and a dot, if they crit, would actually take your crit damage. Cycle intensity obviously works with S4 cycles, which is why you have this stat setup that would actually help out Zankou's dot direction more. And in that Lacrimosa dot team, the main damage dealer is Lacrimosa, which is why you can afford just using a Lost Radiance set. Now, if you want to just go for the main direct damage DPS direction with Zankou, which is totally fair, you will want the Crimson Twin Butterfly set. For main stats, go for crit damage or incantation damage. For module substats, it'll be crit damage, damage percent, then cycle intensity or attack percent. For this playstyle, you'll focus more in Zankou's direct damage and still have some care for her Scorches and her dots as well. A combination of having crit rate, having crit damage, some cycle intensity, some damage percent, all of that would be pretty solid for what Zankou is designed to do in this setup. As for skill up priority now, you want to start with Zankou's passives obviously, then basic, then alt, then skill. And with that said, we can now go into her best teams. There are again two directions you can go with Zankou. I'll show you both of them, and to start with the first, it will be the Lacrimosa dot team setup with Zankou. You'll be using Zankou, Lacrimosa, Aroi, and Sakiri. To start with the rotation, enter battle and instantly trigger Scorch by swapping into Lacrimosa from Zankou. Then use Lacrimosa's skill. Swap into Sakiri for ultimate and hold her skill for the gather. Then swap to Aroi, use her skill and alt, hold her basic, and then as the animation starts, you can swap to Lacrimosa just to maximize the animations. As you swap to Lacrimosa, use her alt if available. Then you want to swap to Zankou next and just hold basic. Then your skill will light up, use it, then spam basics until your skill lights up again, then press the skill again, then press your ultimate when it lights up again after that, and if you have the energy obviously. After that first ult ends, you can just use the ult again when it lights up one more time to finish off with the hardest hitting nuke that Zankou can provide. After that, swap to Lacrimosa and spam basics. When Lacrimosa's ult is almost off of cooldown, repeat the same rotation. This rotation mainly maintains all dots and Scorches and maximize dot damage, and well, we all know how strong Lacrimosa is in general really. Zankou makes this even better. I do recommend this team if you have Lacrimosa. It's pretty neat, but I'd argue the usual Lacrimosa mindless triple buff hypercarry team is easier to play. It doesn't mean this team is bad though, it just means that you have options to think about, right? And honestly, the hypercarry team, it's just effective. I'm not sure which one's stronger, but I do think it's boring to just play the hypercarry team all the time. But each to their own, right? I do think Zankou still has a lot of future potential, where she's probably gonna get more signature allies or different teams that would prefer using her, and not just with Lacrimosa Lacrimosa, right? Or perhaps there's gonna be more supports for Lacrimosa and Zankou in this team to make the team even stronger. We'll see. Now, the next team for Zankou will be pointing towards the direction of Zankou as a main direct damage dealer. For this example, I'll be showing a team of Zankou, Daffodil, Jiuyuan, and Sakiri. You do want to just make sure you have Zankou and Sakiri in the squad. The rest can be any relevant Anima and Chaos character, just to trigger the relevant Esper cycles of Scorch. To start a combo, enter with Zankou and instantly trigger Esper cycle by swapping into Daffodil. You'll get the Scorch. Use her ult and skill now, then you would swap to Jiuyuan. Use her skill for the gather, then go to Sakiri with her ult, then hold her skill, standard Sakiri stuff. Swap to Daffodil once to launch her enhanced parry attack, then swap to Jiuyuan for her ultimate. Swap to Daffodil again for her final enhanced parry attack, and obviously feel free to time it with actual parries. If the boss is parryable, you don't have to follow this diligently. Then it's the same thing now. You want to swap to Zankou. Hold her basic, then your skill will light up. Use that one, then spam basics until your skill lights up again. Then press the skill, then you press your ult when it lights up, and if you have energy. Once that ult is done, you can just press the ult again when it lights up for one more time to finish off with the hardest hitting ult that Zankou has. And that will be the full rotation, rinse and repeat. This team is, in my opinion, harder to play since, well, there is Daffodil there, which means more swapping and sometimes timing parries if you feel like it. But it's a team that works, and obviously you'll land Scorches, you'll receive buffs from Sakiri, you would have a well-built Zankou that deals massive direct damage and still has dot damage on her back pocket that's still burning enemies alive along with Scorch. It fully maximizes her kit as much as possible, but yeah, just to mention though, you don't have to diligently follow the steps and everything here. If you're missing some energy, feel free to just attack a bit more or evade a bit more. As long as you kind of understand the whole arrangement of things, you'll do fine. Now obviously, this team does not look completed yet, in my opinion. I happen to think there'll be future allies. As I mentioned, for Zankou, they'll make her shine even more. And that will be all for her team. As for her awakenings, honestly, it's not required as she's already strong enough at 0 dupes, and her awakenings are not busted enough to make a giant case to prioritize them. However, I do recommend going for the first, second, and fourth potential altogether if you're planning to get her dupes anyway, as these three specifically work with each other to improve Zankou as a whole tangibly. Anything else is still valuable to some extent, some more than some others, but none of them are so massive that I would suggest anyone to just go hard in or you're losing out, right? That is how I see it. But yep, I do recommend Zankou. Just pull one copy in one of her arc and you can stick and have fun with her for a long time. I don't think you'll regret getting Zankou and getting a team ready for her. She's one of the coolest characters around. Her animations are insane in the storyline and it's probably one of the more favorited ones from every player. So yeah, enjoy pulling Zankou. Hope I helped you out. Take care.